welcome everybody. The moment is finally there. We are ready for our kickoff event. The Hackathon for Good edition number 5 is around the corner and we just have to wait one more week to start. So we are very happy to see you all here today. So I'm Maudi, I'm the community manager of the Hackathon for Good. Some might know me already, but in case you didn't, here I am. And I'm part of the amazing Hackathon for Good team. So today you're going to meet us and also my colleague Milena here. She is going to tell you all about the program. So first we'll introduce our agenda to you so you know what's up today and what you're going to expect for today's meeting. So we're going to start with a little introduction today of our challenges. You get to know the mentors, the partners, everybody that is involved in this amazing Hackathon edition. And we have some inspirational speakers also. So you're going to meet the challenge owners, get to know the program, get to know some more information about all interesting subjects. So just let's go for it. Let's just start. So first, let's hear from our challenge owners. So Michael, you are the first coming up. So welcome to the kickoff. Hey, Michael.
Hi, thank you very much, and great to be here, and very excited to get this started.
Great to have you. Can you tell us more about this amazing challenge coming up?
Yeah, sure. I'll just start up presentation quickly.
Thanks.
Yeah, just a second. So, my name is Michael. I represent Integrity Initiatives International. We are running the campaign to establish an international anti-corruption court, hopefully very soon. And we would like to use the opportunity for this hackathon to give you a challenge. And the challenge is called Combating Grant Corruption Using Open Data. Grant corruption is the abuse of high-level power that benefits the few at the expense of the many. In a country where its leaders enrich themselves with public funds, it is affecting everyone's lives on many levels. Infrastructure, healthcare, and education are massively underfunded, depriving you and the next generations of fundamental rights and services. Civil society's resistance to corrupt leadership and political opposition are often repressed and can lead to imprisonment, torture, or even death. But even if you live in a country where grant corruption is not really an issue, it still affects you. So the problem, what is the problem? I actually think you can, this is not really, you can, hang on just a second, I'm sharing the wrong screen, I think. Yes, I just realized that. Just a second.
We will wait a second and you can just get the right screen. It's great that we can share already our first challenge, and we have 4 more challenges coming up. So I'm also very curious what you hope that teams will achieve within this challenge. So we hope we can hear also more about that.
Can you see it better now?
Well, let's check. I think we cannot see your presentation yet. We only can see you. That's also very lovely. But let's make sure we can also see your presentation for some guidance maybe.
And we just did such a wonderful tech check. Now you should be able to.
We can see your presentation.
Excellent.
Is this the right one?
It's still showing the wrong screen, I think. Yeah, okay, now you should be able to see it.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
You can see it. No worries.
I checked it beforehand.
Let's just continue.
Very strange.
Now we are already set to go.
Excellent. So, what is the problem? Many countries, 183 actually, signed the UN Convention Against Corruption, which requires signatories to criminalize bribery of public officials, embezzlement of public funds, money laundering, and obstructions of justice. But actually only very few countries enforce these laws at the national level. So existing cross-border investigations are insufficient to hold most corrupt leaders and their co-conspirators accountable. An international anti-corruption court can fill the critical enforcement gap, but will need to gather sufficient evidence from sources in numerous countries in any given case. So the challenge for all of you is, how can we help corruption investigators, legal experts, and journalists to quickly identify complex corruption schemes and illustrate relationships between individuals and companies by overlapping open data sets and cross-referenced resources when databases are not homogeneous, transparent, or accessible internationally, instead of working individually and relying on scattered, incomplete, or outdated information? Now, that's a lot to take in. Of course, you can reread the challenge later on, but what we try to achieve with this is really, how can we, and there's some sub-questions as well that we would like to address, but how can we help to create a mechanism that allows investigators to access open source data internationally? How can the solution support existing databases on topics to fight corruption? How can we best enable civil society to contribute in supporting, collecting, and working with the solution's outputs? And additionally, how can social channels play a role in the solution information feed? Data scraping, scanning, selection, etc. Of course, you can read the full challenge. I gave you the short URL here if you want to have a look at that. And for this challenge, we've also partnered with Roseman Labs and Open Corporates for a sample of a data set that you can use in a virtual data lake. And I think the organizers will tell you a little bit more about some additional bonuses and prizes you can win by using this virtual data lake for this challenge.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, if you have any more questions, you can contact me through this, but you can also use the Flow platform to schedule an appointment with me to have a one-on-one session for any further questions.
Great, thank you.
Thank you
so much. And I'm just wondering, what do you hope teams will achieve within this challenge?
Well, the biggest challenge that we'll face with, one of the biggest challenges that we'll face with the International Anti-Corruption Court or any similar court is how we can aggregate and use information that is collected by all kinds of investigators, journalists, investigators, and some of them mentioned that before, also civil society. And how can we use this information in a way that would benefit court cases and investigations to fight corruption? And it will remain a big challenge. And so we're hoping to come up with a solution that will make this easier, and also not just easier, but also we'll be able to use it directly in the court. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's a really relevant challenge, and I'm very curious about the solutions that the hackers will come up with. So thank you so much for introducing yourself and this amazing challenge. So yeah, guys, this is our first challenge. So thank you for this amazing kickoff. So we go to our next challenge, our second challenge with Ramon. Welcome, Ramon, from the municipality of The Hague. I'm very happy to have you here also. And it's so great to see that you're a front runner of collaborating with entrepreneurs these days. So I'm curious, what is the challenge? Can you tell us more about this challenge this year?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. First, thank you for having me. My name is Ramon Jekeren. I work for the municipality of The Hague, our city of peace and justice, where I work in the area of economic affairs, and where I am responsible for strengthening the business climate for small and medium enterprises. And I'm sure you're all aware that the main pillar of within the local government is policy making. And right at this moment, currently, we do not have a process for validating our new policies before we are introducing them. which can lead to lengthy processes and adjustments and raised disaffection within the SME community, which of course has a negative impact on our goal of strengthening the business climate. So that is why we need a tool that helps us with a deeper and like a way better understanding of our entrepreneurial ecosystem, in order we can pinpoint and select entrepreneurs and involve them timely, and take their input into account within the whole process of policy making. So this moment, our current business analysis it lacks information on specific types of entities, or whether it's like social entrepreneurs or family holdings. So the challenge, the struggle we have is, well, how do we map out and select the local entrepreneurs with up-to-date and more enriched details, more enriched data by combining data, as we can reach out, to them and involve them within our policy making process. So that's the challenge in a nutshell. And of course, if there's more questions, I am more than willing to help out.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Challenge accepted. What a nice challenge we have here. Like as a second challenge, we are very happy to go for it. Also for the hackers, you can find like more information on our website. You can see an overview of all the challenges and you can read them after this kickoff. But also feel free to ask anything to our amazing challenge owners. They are here for you and all your questions. So thanks again. So I think we're going to move on to our third challenge already. So you must be very excited because we have a veteran coming in. Woody is our hackathon veteran, and also this year he's bringing in even 2 challenges. So he's going to explain you guys all about those challenges, and it's going to be very interesting. So Woody, welcome. I'm super happy to see you.
Thank you, Maudie. Thank you.
Great
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. So
okay.
Can you please tell us something about your first challenge coming up?
Yes, thank you. Let me first introduce myself. I have 2 challenges, so I have a little bit more time also to introduce myself, but I will keep it short. So my name is Woody Myers. I work for the Greenport West Holland. I will explain it later, as a program director of the Innovation Pact, so where we try to solve all the big issues we have, all kinds of challenges we have in our Greenport. And this is a cluster of all kinds of greenhouse production systems for vegetables, flowers, potted plants. And besides of that, I'm also working as a professor at in Holland University in value chain management. But today we have 2 challenges. I will start first with the energy challenge we have. So as a Greenport, a Triple Helix organization, we want to be independent of fossil fuels. We want to become climate neutral as soon as possible. And of course, this is a very big challenge. And in the meantime, we are faced, especially the different entrepreneurs and the companies, with a very high energy prices. So there is a big challenge. We want to support the different, together with the province. I should not forget the province, because the province is also is a very important partner for us. So we really want to support the growers, the different entrepreneurs, and we talk about more than 1,000 of these growers in our region, to help them to tackle the energy problem. If we look at the company during the year, there is a surplus of energy in the summer and a shortage of energy in the winter, but also during the daytime, there's a lot of variation during the day and during the night in terms of heat, which is needed and can be stored, energy. And also if we look in the region, the different companies have different solutions. So some use geothermal energy, some use windmills, the others have a special installation for the production of electricity. And we see that at this moment, many of the growers, of the entrepreneurs, try to develop solutions for themselves. They want to optimize and reduce the costs for energy. And we see a lot of options for connecting them. So if you can make it easier for them to connect with the neighbor, what's going on with my neighbor? Does he have energy surplus or a shortage? So how can you create a tool which can be very helpful in our regional network to connect the different entrepreneurs related to managing heating, the whole energy, electricity production, cooling during the year, and also on a day-to-day level. And if we can succeed with this tool related to our energy agreement, we can also support you to make more business out of it and bring it to the different companies in our region and also in the Netherlands and also internationally. So this is my first challenge I want to offer to you, and hopefully we get some very nice solutions from you to support these companies, and so in the end we can reach in an earlier stage our big challenge, and that is how to become climate neutral.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thanks for introducing the first challenge. I think together we can make a lot of impact with this challenge. If you come to a great solution with all of our hackers, we can really make it work. And also, this is a very popular challenge within our hacker group. So I think we can do something about that, right?
Okay,
So
would
let's
be
move on
great.
to the second one that you have for us today.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about that one?
Yes, okay, of course, thank you.
Great,
This
thanks.
is a little bit different. This question was raised by one of our companies, which is very active and really innovative, LG Flowers. Unfortunately, the owner could not join today due to all kinds of other activities in this weekend, but together we developed this challenge. And if we look today at the let's a more average greenhouse operation, we talk about an operation where many people are involved. It's a big company, 200, sometimes 300 people employed. Big operation. A lot of things are happening there. So the entrepreneurs have to deal with a lot of information, a lot of data, and make decisions every day. And one of the challenges Joyce, she's the owner of LG Flowers, has is how can I collect in a proper way data which is available in my company from, let's say, more on the office level, but also from the production, from the climate computer and other production systems they have and logistics. That's internally, but also externally. There are many factors which influence the business. Of course, energy prices, also related to water quality, water price, but also related to, in some cases, during the summer, there could be a shortage, labor shortage, the availability of labor, but also other worldwide developments. Could be political, related to border closures, because most of the products which are produced are exported. So a lot of data is coming on the, let's say, on the desk of this entrepreneur, and she has to make decisions. And today she has, let's say, a more manual process of gathering all this information and trying to process it in a kind of Excel. But it's very difficult, and it takes a lot of time for her. And she really is looking for a, let's say, more automated system where all these different data can be collected on a daily basis or every week, and be transferred into a kind of dashboard with a clear overview so that she can make decisions and make the right decisions. So it's a kind of management support system. And not only for the flower business, there are also other companies with a keen interest in this, because they're all facing the complexity of doing business in this well, today in our society, but also in our global economy. But these are this is, let's say, the second challenge. And also for this, Greenport is really willing to support if we have a nice solution to bring this further in our cluster, in our sector. Thank you very much, and looking forward to work with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much for introducing those challenges. I think, yeah, again, we can make a lot of impact and also create something in decision making regarding this subject. Thanks, Woody. Thanks for being here, and we're very looking forward all together to solve our challenges. We have 4 challenges already spoken, and now we are going, last but not least, to our 5th challenge. So, Corina, hi, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Hello.
I think you have a
Nice to
really
see you.
relevant challenge for our hackers. So please, can you tell us something about this year's challenge?
Of course. Thanks for having me here. So my name is Corina Makrodimitraki, and I'm a technical project coordinator at 510, which is the data and digital team of the Netherlands Red Cross. And together with my colleague Jacopo Margutti, we are presenting the challenge to the hackathon this year for the Netherlands Red Cross, which has to do with anonymizing anonymizing messages to remove personally identifiable information. So to give you a bit of a background, since February this year, the Red Cross in different countries around Ukraine, but also within Ukraine, has been trying to support the people that are displaced due to the crisis. And the operations managers during these kind of giving aid, humanitarian aid to people, need to know the needs of the people that are being displaced. So in terms of shelter, in terms of psychosocial support, so that they know what kind of services to provide. And this is a challenge because knowing the needs of people that are on the move is quite difficult. And this is where we come in as the data team of the Netherlands Red Cross. We have been supporting the Ukrainian, Polish, Romanian, and Slovakian Red Cross operations by providing a faster analysis of the needs of the people displaced. So what we do is we monitor open Telegram groups where people communicate to each other, people who are on the move communicate to each other, asking each other questions about shelter, about psychosocial support, about water, health and sanitation things, and give each other tips. And we download this data, we anonymize it using artificial intelligence models, and we try to submit, let's say, fact sheets to the operations managers every 2 weeks. So we do this in a way so that the operations managers in the region know exactly what the needs are in a very fast and very accurate manner. Now, the challenge that we bring here today is anonymizing the data that we download from the open Telegram groups, because until now, this process is not optimal because of the models that are trained on Western languages and not so much on non-Western languages like Ukrainian and Russian. So ideally, we would like to be using models that have a very high accuracy in removing personally identifiable information from messages for non-Western languages as well, and as many languages as possible, actually. So we want a high performance model that is also ideally open source, because we work, one of our ideologies is to work open source and provide our code to other NGOs and other Red Cross societies across the world to help people as much as possible. And so this is the challenge. You can read more about it on the Flow platform. And this coming week, my colleague Jacopo Margutti, who is the data scientist in our team, will be available for more technical questions in case you would like to know more on the one-on-one sessions. Yes, I think that's it. Thank you very much for having us and for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Corina. Nice to have you. Thank you for being here. We can't wait for starting with this challenge also. So also for you guys, for the hackers, if you want more information, you can all find it on our website. And also the challenge brief will be provided to all teams on our platform. And later on, we're going to tell you more about our platform. So stay tuned. So thank you once again, challenge owners, for letting us know the directions you would like to go in. So next week, it's finally there. The moment is there that we're going to start 48-hour hacking and to solve this challenge together. And we cannot do that alone. So we have our challenge, we have our team, but there are so much more people that are helping us to reach our goals. So we are working with some partners, our tech partners, Amazon Web Services, 10th Revolution, and Roseman Labs. So big thank you, guys, for being a partner this year. And also we have our mentors this year. Our mentors are going to support you guys in any direction, and you can find the directions on Flow. So all mentors will be on our Hackathon platform, and you can book a session with them and ask all of your questions to them. They will help you to solve the challenge. They will help you with all the problems that you might have. So please reach out to them on Flow. They are there to help you. So check the time availabilities in our platform and just go for it together with our mentors. So here they are. Big shout out to our mentors this year. Furthermore, we have some jury members, and our jury members will decide who is going to be the big winner. So on Sunday we have our pitch event. That's going to be so great, because then you're all set and you have your challenge, and you can present it to our jury. So we have round 1 and round 2. So in round 1, each challenge has a winner, and then in round 2 we're going to pick an overall winner. And for that we have a main jury. And this is our main jury this year. So also a big thank you for joining, and we can't wait to hear all your pitches. And jury members, you can meet them on Sunday. And then you must be very curious about our program, because together with our team we have made like an amazing program for you. We're going to start with our support program this week. So we have first our support program, and then the Hackathon 48 hours. But my colleague Milena will tell you all about this. So Milena, hi.
Hi, Maudie.
Nice to have you also here. So can you tell us more about the program? I will give the word to you.
Yes, of course. Well, welcome everybody from my end as well. My name is Milena and I'm the program designer, and it's been a pleasure indeed working with all of these stakeholders involved to bring our Hackathon program to you. We are excited, of course, to announce how many teams are joining us this year. We're growing every year, and we have now 30 plus teams and more than 125 people joining as hackers. Whether you are a very smooth working and experienced team, or if you are a newly assembled team, you have the same chances of winning. So one tip that I would like to give you all is to split responsibilities and work together so that you can make the most of your time. Last but not least, don't forget to have fun. Ooh. Hacking is all about coming up with innovative solutions, but also taking the time to network and to have a creative space or a creative break. So here we have a couple of suggestions to you. You can appoint, of course, a chief content and deliverables, or a chief teammate on data and tech activities. So feel free to play around with this and find what works best for your team. We heard your feedback from last year, and this is why we're kicking off a week in advance. So we would like to honor the full 48-hour for hacking. And this is, now we're taking the opportunity to introduce all of the materials to you, to provide additional workshops and learning sessions, and of course, having this week before the actual start of the 48-hour hack gives you an opportunity to already browse through the data sets and the materials provided by the challenge owners. So let's look at the timeline coming ahead of us. There are two ways for you to join, of course, and you've already chosen your track. So we have the fast track, which is a little bit more streamlined, and you're getting only the mandatory information and events, while the full trackers, they will have a little bit more time to explore, to maybe try out some of the toolings that we are providing. And additionally, you will get practice out of it. So we are really introducing tested and tried methods for developing your solution in the best way. So feel free to start planning your activities. We have a quite elaborate agenda here for you. The events marked in yellow are for fast trackers. So these are all the mandatory events, of course, for everybody joining the hackathon. Please make note of that. We hope to see you there. And the rest of the activities marked in blue are for the full track participants. This is where, of course, you can see all of the support program sessions, the workshops from our tech partners, as Maudi mentioned. And we have a few moments during the week where you can engage with our team and with our data support experts on any question that might pop up during your preparation. What I would like to highlight here is actually the two moments when we expect something from you. We expect, of course, your deliverables, and we're gonna dive into that just now. So, why and when are we expecting the deliverables for you? First, for our Hackathon for Good, the Hague 5 edition, we would like to receive a concept, and that basically entails a little paragraph on the idea that you have, or perhaps on the multiple different directions that you want to explore during the 48-hour hack period. Using this input, we would assign you a mentor, we would give you some tips and tricks, or perhaps we could also share that with the jury members so that they're better prepared in receiving and asking questions during your pitches on Sunday. If you still have some doubts or if you need some advice before submitting your concept deliverable, you are more than welcome to schedule a concept booth session with our hackathon lead, Daniel Steginga. He has been part of so many hackathons, and it will be very, very valuable for you to connect with him before jumping into the hack. Now, of course, the biggest deliverable we have is the pitch deliverable, and we give you, of course, a full 48 hours to work on your solutions, plus 1 hour extra, because we always know that you need a little bit of time to properly upload everything and provide the deliverables. So the pitch deadline is on Sunday 27th, Central European time at 1 o'clock. And what are we expecting from you by that time? We would be needing your presentation slide deck with any prototypes, code, or other supporting materials and visuals that you have developed for your pitches. The concept deliverable will be submitted by you in a type form, which is shared through our platform, and the pitch deliverables you will have to upload in a designated drive folder per team. Stay tuned on the details for that. Deliverables bring you prizes. And we are more than happy to announce also that our prizes are growing each year. As Maudi mentioned, the pitch event is twofold. The first round is when you will be competing against the other teams in your challenge. And the prize for that is 750 euros. For round 2, all of the challenge winners will compete against each other. And that is where the big whopping prize of 3,500 euro will be appointed to. Now, of course, money is not everything. And we have had the experiences before with teams winning a prize but donating it for a good cause. So feel free to consider that as an option as well. And one more thing that I would like to mention here is that we collaborate a lot with the challenge owners that you just met. And specifically with challenge owners that keep on coming back, we build up follow-up opportunities. So for example, Woody from Greenport has been supporting one of our previous winners into developing a startup. And that could be perhaps your team this year. Now, for the prizes, of course, we're all clear on that. I think that's the first thing that everybody checks joining a hackathon. But we have some surprises for you today, and those are the bonus prizes. Our partners come together and we provide additional support in the form of bonuses. What does that mean? That means that depending on which challenge you're working on and how you go about it, you can get some extra perks during your participation. The first prize is offered by World Startup, and that is the Co-Creation and Startup Prize, where you will be competing for the signature Mountain of Tomorrow road mapping workshop with some high-end state of startup development experts. So really take a look into that. The second bonus that is available to all challenges is the Awesome Hacker Prize, and that is provided by AWS. They are, of course, making their tooling available to you all with special credits, and there is a certain procedure that you need to follow to get access to the credits, of course. But if you make use of any of their tools and their console, you will be applicable for the Awesome Hacker Prize. Now, last but not least, we are very excited to partner this year with Roseman Labs, which is a very, very exciting startup working on a new technology for encryption and privacy. Their virtual data lake is definitely something that you need to dive into and attend their workshop, even if you're not participating in their challenge. The Roseman Lab bonus prize is only applicable to 2 challenges due to the nature of the data sets that we have prepared. Those 2 challenges are combating international corruption, and the second challenge, where you can win the bonus prize of Roseman Labs, is the assessing policies for the municipality of The Hague. Go over the requirements of the prize, and you will be able to win a 6-month extra access to their virtual data lakes, including the support of their amazing team, and of course a big shout out on their socials, because this is their first time participating and they're really excited to appoint their first Roseman Lab winner. So, deliverables, prizes, but you don't have to do it all on your own. We are here for you. Maudie and I, my colleague Lana as well, who will be in charge of the support program and all of the workshops coming in the next few days. Next to us, of course, we have very, very valuable data and tech support team. You can reach out to Gagan, Matisse, and Shravan whenever you're experiencing technical difficulties or if you have questions regarding the data sets. Feel free to find us on Flow. Now, when I mention the support program, what does that actually mean? The support program is for people who, have the time to dive in, have the time to explore and attend a few workshops. The workshops will be not only on the data and tech side of things, but we'll also have pitching workshops and design workshops. So really try to expand your skill set during this hackathon experience. When you're joining the support program as a full tracker, you get access not only to the additional activities, but you will be also provided a Miro board where you can collaborate with your team and explore methods from business and design development. Now, this is of course the most exciting part, and I think the biggest question that we've been receiving over the last few hours. How and what kind of data sets can you access per challenge? As we mentioned already, the challenges were available on the website, but as registered participants in the hackathon, you will receive a more detailed challenge brief in the platform. This challenge brief contains, of course, all the background information. It will outline the problem, but it will also include the sub-challenges and sub-questions that the challenge owners mentioned today. Another interesting thing that you can look into there is the criteria. The challenge owners have provided some potential directions that you could explore. And the most important aspect, of course, of the challenge brief is the link to the data sets available for this topic. Now, I personally would say that a challenge brief is a very, very overarching document. It encompasses a lot of things, so be mindful and strategically select your direction so that you can tackle the needs of the target group identified. In 48 hours, we all know that you cannot solve all of the questions that are in there, but choose your direction and build a proof of concept solution that will show to the challenge owners how you want to proceed forward going into this. We allow you to use the data sets and the materials per challenge with any tooling or with any consoles of your choice. However, we do highly recommend that you use the AWS console because that provides you access to their bonus prize. And what are they providing for the teams? Each team that is interested in the AWS console can request a promotional code, which will give you access to $500 worth of credits. And you can use this for their tooling and for their tutorials. The credits will be valid until the end of the year. So don't miss on this opportunity and request your code with me or with my data support colleague, Mathies. Last but not least, for the 2 challenges that I mentioned, we really recommend you trying out the virtual data lake products. Again, because it allows you to win a bonus prize, but also because it's a very new technology and it could provide you additional input going into developing future-proof and impactful solutions for privacy tech. So, now that you know all of the materials that will be provided to you, it is time to also discuss where all of this will be happening. We are very, very fortunate to have a great partner by our side, the Hague Tech. And in the last few years, of course, our hackathon has been fully hosted online. And this year, we're taking up on the task to make it hybrid. So all of our activities will be happening parallel, both at the Hague Tech and in our virtual spaces. The Hague Tech is a co-working space, and the virtual platforms that we'll be using are, of course, the Hackathon for Good platform built by Maas, and we'll also be using a few virtual spaces in Mozilla Hubs, which is a great way to network online in an open source platform. I will dive into all of the functionalities of the platform that we, of course, have been onboarding you on in the last few days. This is where you can access all of the experts, but this is also a place where you can join the events or network with us. So please stay tuned for the demonstration that we'll be doing at the end of today's event. For now, of course, we have been receiving a lot of questions already. I hope that you've also dropped them in the chat so far. If there are any things popping up later on, you can always check our FAQ page first, or just reach out to one of our teammates. For now, I would like to check, of course, if there are any burning questions at the moment. I think, Maudi, we have quite a lot of hackers in the call. So let's take a quick look.
Yeah, well, so let us know. You must have some questions for us. So we have been talking a lot. I can imagine that it's so much information for you, but we are also really happy to answer all of your questions. So please let us know, because our team is ready to answer all of your questions. So what kind of questions do we have here?
Yes, I see already. Is the meeting being recorded? Yes, it is. You're all being recorded with us, and it will be made available to you via our YouTube channel. Shortly after today, of course. All of the information will be available on Flow, so don't worry about that, and the slide deck as well. I see, of course, going forward with who should we contact if we're having issues getting set up with the hack. This is a question from Chris. Chris, to be honest, your question is a little bit broad, but there are, as I mentioned, at least 6 people that you can have as a first point of contact. And depending on the issue that you're experiencing, if you have any issues with Flow or if you have questions regarding the program, please reach out to me. If you would like to know about anything community related or the location at the Hague Tech, so our co-working space, you can reach out to Maudi. If you're a full tracker, you can reach out to Lana. She will be guiding you all through the My Rewards activities. And for the data questions and the tech questions, I will show a special chat where you can always drop them, and all of our tech support people will jump in to help you out as quick as possible. But for first point of contact for all teams, I would like to highlight perhaps Mathies. feel free to chat him up on Flow. Then we have another question. Are we supposed to share the concept in a doc? So the concept deliverable that I mentioned will be delivered via a type form. A type form, we will share the link with you. You can just select your challenge, indicate your team, and name, of course, because at least one person from each team needs to deliver the concept. And in the form, you will also be able to indicate your interest in all of the bonus prizes. So that will be a type form, not a doc. Let's see. Are there any more questions or anything that perhaps you're wondering about? I see that Jink is interested if we'll be joining the metaverse. Unfortunately not, but we do hope indeed to provide you a very hybrid and all-round hacking experience. Then I think that is all I see so far. There is of course a question regarding the Miro board links. So I would like to iterate on this. The Miro boards will be provided only to the teams that have signed up for the full track, because they will need them during the workshops provided on Monday and Tuesday. If you're a fast track team and you're still curious to see what it is that we provide on the Miro board, feel free to message Svetlana and we can share you an example Miro board. Let's go further down. Oh, I see that Astrid says, yay, we love Miro. We also love Miro over here. They're a very, very nice partner that we've worked over the years with. Yes, and last question that I see in the chat is if there is already any information provided about the teams. Prapor, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yes, you should have received an email introducing to you who is in your team and what challenge are you going to be tackling together. So please check your mailbox. If you cannot find it, of course, check the spam folder first, but feel free to reach out to us at community@hackathonforgood.org, because otherwise you'll be missing out. So find your email, find the information of the teams that you've been appointed to, and activate your account. So we'll be going through the platform functionalities just shortly, but of course we highly, highly recommend that all team members are on the platform and have access to the events and the materials. All right, well, these are all the questions that we have so far in the chat. As I mentioned, check the FAQ. We have provided a lot of information there, especially for the people who want to join us at the Hague Tech. There is valuable information on how you get in the building, what is available here, of course, in terms of cups and drinks and snacks and facilities, of course. So I think that will be handy when you are preparing for the 48-hour hack period. And in terms of the virtual spaces, a little sneak peek, let's say, is that in the Mozilla Hubs, we'll be hosting our coffee breaks. Hacking is, of course, not only working, so we want to really, really get to know you all and have that creative space to enhance your solutions, or even sometimes be able to take a mindful break and really separate from the work in order to come with fresh eyes on it. Okay. Well, if there are no any additional questions, oh, I see more things popping in. Regarding the mentors, you saw quite a lot of mentors, of course, are joining us this year, and they're split into various different categories. So we have mentors assisting you on the business side of things. If you would like to work on a business model for the co-creation or startup prize, or if you would like to go into a more concrete roadmap. The second category for mentoring is, of course, data and tech. So the challenges are quite different. And we have people that can support you, of course, with data scraping or with AI and with encryption and privacy side of things. So find the suitable mentor for your question. Then questions coming still. How can I double check that I sign up for the fast track or not? Sabina, that is indeed interesting. I can imagine that perhaps you signed up a long time ago and you're one of our early birders. You can check that with my colleague Matisse. If you're in doubt, a simple thing that can help you identify whether you're in a full track or in a fast track is if you're able to see the support program channel on Flow. All the people who are already invited on the support program are a full track participant. Okay. Oh, there's a very, very nice question. How many teams do we have per challenge on average? So yeah, this is regarding the competition. I think, Volva, there is quite a lot of competition this year. So we have anywhere between 6 to 8 teams competing per challenge. So during the round 1, you will have quite a big competition. And then going into round 2, we will have 5 winning teams competing for the big prize. I see also people asking, how do I join? I think this is also a good moment to mention that all of our events are, of course, public, and there are people that are just going to be tuning in to see what it is like to participate in Hackathon for Good. So Brian, unfortunately, I don't think you can join anymore because most of the teams are appointed, but stay tuned for our next editions. And I'm not talking only about the Hague 5, the Hague 6 edition for next year, but we also organize and support organizations internationally to host their Hackathon for Good in their own country. All right. And I think we're running out of time for questions, guys, but more things are popping in. My colleagues will be, of course, typing and responding to you. Let me tackle one or two more. How can we, as fast trackers, join the workshops? That is a little bit of a pickle, Mario. Please let us know which workshop are you interested in. I would, however, recommend you to join at least the AWS Ask Me Anything session on Friday, because that can definitely benefit all of the teams. All right, I'm really out of time, unfortunately, for more questions, but make sure to ask them in the chat and we'll try to get back to you in text. Maudi, I think we should proceed forward with the rest of the program for today. This was, of course, very, very practical now, and it is time for some inspiration, right?
Yeah. So it's time to get inspired. Are you guys ready? I can imagine that there is a lot of information going on and that you need to think of it. And maybe if some questions are popping up later, please let us know. Feel free to contact us at any time because we're gonna have a lot of fun together. And that's we're gonna solve challenges and have a lot of fun. And right now it's time for some amazing, inspiring speaker coming up. So we invited 3 speakers. And I would like to introduce the first one coming up is Buster from Fruit Punch. And he's going to share the user case using artificial intelligence for wildlife preservation. So Buster, are you here with us today? Buster. I don't see you yet, but yeah, you will come. I think it's really nice to have Buster here today because as a first speaker, he's going to talk how Fruit Punch uses artificial intelligence for autonomous drones to search for poachers in the wildlife reserves of South Africa. So I think that we can get a lot of information about that. And also we have 2 more speakers coming up. So I will tell you a bit more already about our 2 other speakers. So we have also Freya from Roseman Labs, and that's a startup for new technology of encryption. And then we have also Philip from the University of Groningen. And he is going to tell you more about innovation, because innovation is trial and error. But how can you create new solutions and create impact with innovation? So that's our 3rd speaker. And right now we're going to just start with Freya. Hey Freya, really, really nice to have you here. Freya from Roseman Labs. I already did a bit of introduction, but yeah, I give the word to you. Let's get inspired.
Hi everyone, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you, Freya.
Yeah, great. Hi.
Perfect. Hi, I'm very happy to talk today to you about two impact stories that have to do with the privacy technology that we develop at Roseman Labs. So, in short to say, if we look around us, data is everywhere and it's spread out over different types of organization. And we can see that the most value lies in combining these data. And that's how you get more insights and meaningful solutions. And I'm sure you all agree on that. However, if you try to collaborate on sensitive data, that often comes with concerns. So individuals may ask, what is happening with the data? What's happening with my data? And is it okay to trust the organization that is handling my data? And there will always be privacy officers involved who are asking, what's the legal basis of this analysis that you want to do? And how do you mitigate any risks involved? And finally, there are people who take care of the data. And they also need to answer questions such as, can I trust the other party? And how do I remain in control of the data that I'm responsible for? So sharing sensitive data is difficult. In short, there are technical and legal complexities. There's a chance that you lose control over data after you've shared it. And also you have to always think about a trade-off between de-identifying the data and the quality of the data that remains for the analysis that you want to do. So at Roseman Labs, we have asked, what if there was a different solution? What if you could collaborate without disclosing the sensitive source data? And what if you could analyze details as if there was one single source? And at the same time, all the data owners keep control. You make sure that there is no more data used than is necessary, and everybody knows what happens to the data. That's what we call purpose binding. So, in short, a solution that we seek provides security, and not only against the evil people out there, but also against people inside your organizations that may want to do things with the data that has not been agreed. So Roseman Labs is a team of now 17 people. We are based in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and lots of us are specialized in cryptography. And our mission is to help organizations collaborate on sensitive data without sharing the underlying data. And the two impact stories I want to share have to do with government collection of cyber threat intel and with protecting informants in the fight against human trafficking. Let me tell you briefly about the first impact story. So the Dutch Ministry of Justice has formed an organization that is meant to help the Netherlands become more effective in fighting against the threats of cyber attacks that can happen against companies. So they've asked, how can you enable firms to share details about cyber incidents without the risk that they have to publicly reveal any vulnerabilities? And these businesses, so you see them on the left and the right here, they want to share this information with the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Center, but they're worried about sharing that data. So what we did with Roseman Labs is we use a technology called multi-party computation that allows these companies to fill out an anonymous survey. So they fill out a survey and the responses to the survey are encrypted at the source. And then the results are studied by the NCSC, but in such a way that they cannot see which businesses have answered which questions. And finally, they can share back results that are on an aggregate level and that help the companies act together against any threats. So we started this 2 years ago, and now we see that more than 100 organizations in the Netherlands are using this anonymous survey to share data. Let me briefly explain to you how the technology works. So MPC, which is short for multi-party computation, means that we have an alternative to what is a typical form of data sharing. So on the left side, you see what you would typically do. That is that you have two sources or more sources of information, and you have to bring them to one place to perform an analysis. And this one place could have been a trusted third party. Now, what we do with privacy enhancing technology like MPC is that we encrypt the data at the source, and you see that on the right side here. We encrypt each individual data point, and these encrypted pieces of data are sent to different servers. And these three boxes in the middle is what we call the privacy engine. This is where the calculation takes place. So this was in very short. If you like to hear more about how this works and how you can use it, we have the onboarding session, of course, on Monday. But for now, let me talk to you, tell you about another impact story, that is the fight against human trafficking. So together with NGOs and rescue organizations and law enforcement, we've worked on this project. And the law enforcement had asked us, is it possible to provide us a sample of names from our own records where we can be sure that these people are not informants to any of the NGO organizations? The reason they want to do this is you would put informants at risk if you would start shadowing them or start researching them. So the non-governmental organizations have their own lists, the law enforcement has a list, and the question they ask us is how can we make an overlay of these lists, basically make a matching without sharing with each other the sensitive underlying data. This is where multi-party computation, and specifically our virtual data lake software, has enabled the solution. So what happened in brief, you upload both of the data sources into the virtual data lake. And here you can see that already there is a match. But this match actually happens in the blind. So as a user, you never see what's happening here in the lake. The only thing that you can see is what comes out here on the left. That's the set that was asked for investigation. And what was special about this application that ran already last year is that we made a matching between the two sets using a fuzzy matching algorithm, which is very special because in order to perform this algorithm, there's a lot of cryptography needed on the back end to make it possible to make a link. And the reason this was necessary is that we were matching names that sometimes had spelling mistakes, which is also maybe very relevant for the challenge that I know that is also coming up for the Eastern Europe region. So to just briefly summarize and sum up my presentation, the virtual data lake is available also for this hackathon if you would like to work with it. The interface will look very much like Pandas or a standard Python interface, but you have to take into account there is an authorization layer that we use to manage the GDPR and all the regulations. The main challenges that we support are the one that come about combating international corruption and the municipality challenge for governmental policies. And finally, we really hope that you will work with this software so that you get access to these sources, that you get a chance to work with our technology and build a solution that's privacy protecting. These will be your mentors over the next week. We are looking forward to get in touch with you. And that's what it's for now for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this amazing inspirational talk. I'm super exciting, and also thank you for bringing in so many mentors and for your energy and time. So thank you, Freya. It's really good to have you. Thanks. So we are going to you, Buster. I'm very sorry because we are so excited for the hackathon. We just run through the time, so we were a little bit too early. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm really happy that we can go to you right now. So I already did a short introduction, but you can tell way more of what you're doing and about your inspirational talk. So can you please start and inspire us?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I want to take you guys 3 years back. I'm just gonna boot up my my slideshow here. So 3 years ago, I went to South Africa. I was in the South African wildlife reserves, and I saw an incredibly gruesome sight. The rhino had just been poached, and it was missing its horn. It was alive, but it was barely breathing. And I knew that this was the reality that I signed up for when I started working with the wildlife rangers in South Africa. And when we got back to camp, I saw these skulls lying around of previous poachings. And and this is kind of how this story started for me, working with them in trying to use technology, use AI to make a difference in the poaching crisis. And we started thinking about, like, how can we aid them in kind of stopping this bleeding that is happening in the wildlife reserves. And they were already flying with drones, as you can see here. Robbie, my good friend, is launching it in the bush. But it was incredibly time consuming for them to do these operations. They needed 5 people, highly trained personnel. And as you can imagine, most of these wildlife rangers aren't trained pilots or technicians. So we started thinking about, like, how can we turn this solution into something that can be deployed everywhere, basically every single night when there's the biggest threat of poachers. And this became the first AI for Good challenge that we ever did. So I got together over 50 AI engineers and 10 partners to start solving this problem in these 10-week-long sprints. That's the way that we do it. And we decided to just start automating part after part of their drone platform and turn it into a fully autonomous wildlife protection drone. So we worked with them to automate the detection of poachers on the thermal video feed, to design the hardware that goes on board, so that they can run these models actually on edge, because of course there's almost no connection in the wildlife reserves. And eventually also to let this drone fly autonomously. And with the power of AI, we, together with a bunch of volunteers and partners, we have developed a fully autonomous drone that basically costs in the neighborhood of 300-400 euros, which is much cheaper than any other of these kinds of drones. If you look at kind of like, if you go in the direction of the military spectrum, and can thus be deployed everywhere. Now this was actually you can see here that is flying over the bush, detecting humans in the wildlife reserves where they shouldn't be. On the right here, you can see kind of like the control center that we have for this drone. So since then, we have built kind of like around this idea of doing these challenges, getting a bunch of people together to solve these grand challenges. We've built a global community with engineers in over 80 different countries, working on a great variety of different challenges. So, I mean, we're working with the European Space Agency on detecting wildfires, flash flooding, working with the Dutch government, for example, on detecting all kinds of like small and big scale oil spills. We're also working in healthcare on detecting sepsis in infants and heart failure detection, also COVID detection. And of course, we're still working in wildlife preservation. At the moment, we actually added some notable names like Stanford and Cornell, World Wildlife Foundation, to this list of partners. And our latest challenge you can see here, which is also straight away our cutest challenge, which is facial detection of seals to monitor the coastal ecosystems, because they're a predator all the way at the top of the food chain. So they say a lot about this local ecosystem. So, but when I think about what we do with Fruit Punch AI and all these challenges that we've solved, I don't think that that really these challenges are the most impactful thing that we do. So I would argue that the main power is in the people that we, with these challenges and boot camps and partners and mentors, that we train and help build a portfolio and help apply AI for good. So this is kind of like this, this cascading effect of this global community willing and able to solve some of humanity's greatest challenges. And that is because in the end, like it doesn't matter how much money some people or some companies have, if they lose the power to innovate, and that is what we, the engineers, give them. If they lose the power to innovate, that is the moment that they lose their competitive edge. So this is something, a little message that I want to bring across to whoever is tuning in here and is going to be hacking today and in the coming days, that you actually hold a tremendous power, and that we are here with our global community, people all around the world, to unlock this potential in humanity, and also make us realize that we can do this and get us to a place where we can all be applying AI for good full time. Because I think if we want to really solve some of these greatest challenges, the Sustainable Development Goals, while it's awesome to do this kind of stuff in the weekends and in the evening hours. I mean, we're doing that as well with the challenges, and you're doing that right now. In the end, we need to take AI for good out of the profit margins, right? It needs to go to the main floor. Our work, the things that we do as engineers, how we earn our livelihood, I think should be always contributing to life on this planet, because what else are we even doing? So that's my message for you. And I wish you a lot of luck in the coming days, and I hope that you will join us, and so that we can help you at some point apply AI for good full time. So thank you very much, and a very fruitful hackathon.
Thank you, Buster. I think indeed a very, very strong message from your end, and I really also like to jump on this process that you actually outlined here for us, starting with empathy, starting with the problem on the site, and then really identifying how does that affect anybody involved, of course, going into the next step with the rough solutions, trying out basically where we want to be with all the hackers in our community, creating proofs of concept, and hopefully then in a year, or in some cases, of course, Buster, like yours, it might take a little bit longer, but build your solution up to something that really makes a difference. And our community and all of the people joining us today and next week, trust in your power, trust in this, in this collaboration that we're creating together. So thank you, Buster, for this. Very, very touching, I think, and also inspiring for all the hackers that will be diving into their own challenges and empathizing with the target groups.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I feel very inspired, and I know everybody's like smiling here in the studio, and I hope you're also smiling, because we are really hacking for good. Everybody does their best to really achieve something. Together we can make it happen, and together we can make an impact. And this is a really good example of that. So, yeah, well, I feel really good. So let's move on to our third speaker, Philip. Hi, welcome. I already did a short introduction of you too, and let's talk a bit more about innovation, because that's sometimes trial and error, right?
Yes, great. So I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah, we can. Thanks.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, thanks. Well, I often think that innovation is related to trial and error, and actually failure. And this is what I will talk a bit about. So thanks for the opportunity to be here today for the Hackathon for Good, number 5. Thrilled to be here. So the motivational, inspirational talk might be a bit unusual because it's discussing failure, actually. And this is typically annotated with something that is negative for all, or many of us. But research actually tells us that this can be turned into something good eventually. And this is what I want to talk a bit about. And hopefully on the journey in the hackathon, this will also be helpful or inspirational in that sense. So here we see some individuals, actually 5 of them, that are, most of them associated with actually for-profit organizations, but we could replace this also with individuals that are working for hybrid organizations, have also the goal of addressing the SDGs, for example. And if we would ask what have these individuals in common, Bill Gates, Evan Williams, Christina Wallace, you can see here as the first 3, we might say they're all very successful. They are successful individuals, founded very successful companies, Microsoft, Twitter, BridgeUp, LinkedIn, Dyson. So this is something we would associate with them success. But if we take a deeper look, we can actually also associate them with failure. They failed a couple of times before they eventually were successful. And this is something I want to discuss a bit, right? So if we consider, for example, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, they were associated with a company or founded a company called Trefo Data that tracked trafficking information. Eventually was replaced by a free public version, so failed. Evan Williams, Twitter founder, for example, developed the streaming platform Audio that also failed. And we can go through the list here. Just quickly, I mean, for Mr. Dyson, we see had actually more than 5,000 prototypes developed that were failures before he came up with his successful innovation that built the foundation for the successful company as such. So we see that all of those had failures, and eventually these failures nevertheless enabled them to be so successful and were certainly an enabler for their success in their later career and life as innovators, right? So I want to systemize a bit. How can failure be turned into something good in that sense? And if we ask that question, we can turn to two fundamental questions related to this. One would be where to fail. There are certainly areas where failure is maybe blameworthy or unwanted. Could be, for example, deviance, if individuals choose to violate certain rules, right? Inattention. But there are also areas where, well, failure is praiseworthy and where we're actually looking for failure. And these would be areas where uncertainty is very high, so we don't know what kind of solution will solve the issue that we tackle. And this is certainly the case for the SDGs that the UN highlights, right? And this could be hypothesis testing. I want to test out a solution and want to understand if it's successful or not, and exploratory testing in very highly uncertain settings. So we have these areas where certainly failure is wanted and is something important. And these are the areas that we are actually also pursuing, I think, with the hackathon. So I think we're in quite a good place here, actually. And then we can ask, of course, how do we eventually benefit from failure? And in the end, that is associated, of course, with learning. Learning that is necessary for coming up with innovative and creative ideas. And via failures, we learn, right? And this would be two main issues again: testing. So if we have an opportunity space to come up with a solution to a problem, we have different potential solutions. So we need to test whether one or the other works. So that is important to fail to understand what kind of other opportunities might be fruitful. And then, of course, it's also about building knowledge and expertise. So within the process of failing, I will generate a lot of knowledge that will later on be important in a success story in that sense, which we are, of course, looking for with this hackathon. Yeah. And so we discussed a bit, well, how can failure turn into something good? And there are also some strategies we know from research that better enable us to accept failure, because this is typically nothing we look for. But if it happens, what can be done to cope with it? So one would be quit the blame game. That also includes self-blame. Because if we pick on individuals and blame individuals for failure, this keeps us from evaluating objectively and critically what happened and to learn from these situations. And at the same time, if we quit the blame game also in teams, right, then we generate a culture to be risk willing and pushing for risk, and also to accept failure in that sense. Then we can reframe failure as learning opportunities. That's important, because eventually in each failure we can obviously learn. So it's important to evaluate, understand, but then also at some point to not look back and move on looking for a different solution to the problem. And the necessary condition, I think, for two in the end is that we come from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So a fixed mindset, these are individuals that believe they are born with certain capabilities and traits, and they will remain constant over time. So either I'm born with capabilities or not, and then I'm lucky or not. But if you have a growth mindset, then you accept that you can learn and that you can develop into something, into a new person each day, basically. And that is, of course, also as a society, something that we need to develop into a society that solves the grand challenges that we face these days. And then lastly, one can switch from an outcome mindset to a process mindset. So it's more about the process of coming up with a solution, because this inherits a lot of these learning opportunities. Yeah, I build a lot of knowledge when coming up with these solutions. And that might be true for the hackathon as well. I might come up with solutions, even if it's not the winner solution. I might learn and later on use that knowledge for a winning solution in a different hackathon. Or even within the 48 hours, I could continuously learn and to develop new solutions, so to say. So this is a quick wrap up of how we can think about failure and how it can actually translate into a success in the end. Well, what does this imply for the hackathon? I think we're in the right failure space. So it's a space where we are highly exploratory. We're testing. There's a lot of uncertainty on how to come up with solutions to the problems that we posted. So that is the first important message. That also means that we don't have to have any fear of failure. There are only opportunities to learn and grow in the hackathon. And in the end, when we can come up with a nice solution, with a suitable, feasible solution, then of course, we have won in any case, right? And that means also within the short period that we have to hack, so to say, we can go through cycles of innovating, evaluating, measuring, learning, failing eventually in some micro ideas, so to say, but then to keep on innovating and eventually to maybe come up with a successful solution to the problem that is posted in one of the 5 challenges. And in the end, of course, I mean, that also enables us not to fear failure, but to enjoy the process and to have fun coming up with the ideas. I think this was also stressed in many of the talks today, that eventually it's also about fun and about solving, of course, important societal issues in the end. So thank you so much. I hope this is something to take with you for the hackathon, for the hack period, so to say. So try to fail and to learn from that failure, coming up with new solutions and enabling creativity in the end. So thanks so much and have fun, everyone.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you. Indeed, hackers, don't be afraid to fail. And I think this is also a great opportunity, especially for the full tracker participants, to fail from Monday to Wednesday and really get out there, validate and test the concepts that you would like to work on. You can get opinion during the concept boost or with the challenge owners to see if you're going in the right direction, or even with a mentor. Fail early, fail quickly, and of course, hopefully, we wish you a very, very successful pitch event without any failures. But don't be afraid of it, definitely. And something that I think is also very important when hackathoning is to use those failures as an opportunity to come even closer as a team, to build your team synergy. Because we even have cases where teams, even if their solution might need a certain tweaking or a complete pivot, the challenge owners can really see this synergy and can really see a potential of a strong team that can adapt and build a solution in the long term, collaborating with them. So really try to fail together, learn together, and make things better in the coming week. So Maudi, we are now at the end of our inspiration, and
yeah, well, so let's feel together in order to grow. That's the main message. And yeah, thank you so much for this inspirational talks, everybody. We are very happy to have you. So Next week it's time for a support program. Milena already told you a bit about that, so check our timeline and pick your program. So plan your program and decide what you're gonna do during the support program. But on Friday it's time for the big countdown. So together we're gonna count down until the official moment that we're gonna start hacking. And then we have some great news. I don't know if you already know it, probably yes, but our mayor is coming especially for the Hackathon for Good to open this event with us together. So the municipality of The Hague is a big supporter of our initiative, and we are very happy to have the mayor also here. So don't forget to really be there at 11, because at 11:15 we will start our countdown. And for the hackers joining in person, you can already enter the Hague tag at 10 o'clock to just settle in, drop your stuff, get ready for this big event, and see the mayor in person. And also for the hackers online, you can just join at 11 o'clock, and then we will start together. So, with all the communication this year will go to our Hackathon platform, Flow. We already sent you all the invites, and if you didn't receive your invite yet, please check your spam folder or reach out to us to community@hackathonforgood.org. So back to Milena about the platform. She is an expert in our platform, so she will tell you all about it. And we will do all our communication there, also with the mentors, also with our supporters, with the tech support, and with me as a community manager. So Milena, back to you about our platform.
Yes, thank you, Maudi. And of course, it's always good to mention that the Hackathon for Good platform is not just something that we'll be engaging with during this week. We would like to grow our community on the platform and use this over recurring editions internationally. So please really activate your account, make sure you have your spot there so that you can be involved in future impactful initiatives and programs aimed at the Sustainable Development Goals. But as Maudi mentioned now, we will be going into a little demonstration. So we have prepared for you a few things today, and I would like to show you the key functionalities to get you started. So let's jump over to Flow. And my colleagues will be sharing in the chat the link that is app.hackathonforgood.org. This is where you can always log into. And you should be able now to see my starting screen. So this is where you end up on that URL. And of course, there are two options. I'm new to Flow, or I already have an account. And this is very, very important here. Please first make sure to accept your invitation. So always go first from your invitation email. Once you have already set up your account, you can just go straight to the URL. And that is what we're going to be doing now together. So I'm going to walk you through this process, and I'm going to click on I already have an account because I have accepted my invitation. So what you're going to be seeing now is the point of view of a participant. Let me quickly log in here. And this is the main Flow space. The Flow platform is built in such a way that we have communities and group chats. And group chats can be linked to the communities. You have been invited to all of the relevant channels for you. And of course, the Hackathon for Good community. So this is the main space, the main feed where all the information that we poured over you today will be shared as well. Then going forward into the other channels that you have already been invited to, each team will have their own personal team chat. This is a place where you can just chat with each other, work together, or if you have any questions, reach out to Maudi and to Matisse, actually. So those are your first points of contact. And of course, the third channel that you should all have visible is your challenge channel. So in my case, I have now been invited to the challenge for impactful governmental policies. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have 4 channels? And this is the support program that we've been mentioning today. And what you're seeing now is the point of view of a full track participant. So all full track participants, make sure you have access to the support program channel. And if you're a fast tracker, don't worry too much about it. But yeah, if something really sparks your interest from the workshops or the activities, reach out to us and we'll try to squeeze you in there. Now, I wanted to show you a few things. When you're in the main community space, you can chat with us, but there are a few other actions that you can take. The Hackathon for Good platform is the space where you can access anything Hackathon for Good. So the first thing that you see on the right are, of course, all of the events. And you will be able to directly join the events through the platform 15 minutes prior to their starting time. That is when the joining link will appear if you're joining online. But you can also, of course, use them as a reminder if you are at our co-working space. A very nice perk of using the platform is that the times for the events or the activities will be adjusted to your time zone if you're joining from another country. Going further down on the right, we have booked meetings. I have not booked anything yet, but I will walk you through that process just in a moment. Then going further down, we see the members, and we're not yet complete. So make sure that all of your teammates have activated their accounts so that we can collaborate together. Then, of course, indicating all of the roles involved, the mentors in green, challenge owners in yellow, and the tech support people in blue so that you can easily recognize them. And last but not least, I would like to mention here some of the linked groups that are optional, right? So you have been invited to the key channels that you should really stay up to date with. But in case you have data or tech questions, you can join this, this group chat. Or if you would like to ask and get support from Rosemary Labs regarding their virtual data lakes, please join this, this channel. And the most exciting channels, of course, is the Fun and Photos group, where we would really like to have you all so that we can share the stories, our takeaways and experiences in the week ahead. We are also really happy whenever we see a photo from your end to experience hacking from your corner of the world or to see your cool setup with the teammates. How you can join these channels. I'm going to click on Fun and Photos because I definitely want to be there, and then I'm just going to join the group. Then you're going to be able to see all of the messages so far and, of course, share your photo with us. In case you're getting too much information, of course, you are free to exit some of these optional channels, but hopefully that won't be the case. Now, the most important functionality is, of course, getting in touch with the challenge owners, the mentors, and our support team. And this is where you would like to start booking your meetings already starting from today. So how can you book a meeting? You can book a meeting from the community space here, or you can also access your calendar from the icon on top. I would like to go from here. So I'm going to go ahead and explore who do I want to connect with. Now, of course, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm not going to steal any time slots away from you. So I'm going to explore, of course, all of the expertise available to me. And I'm going to set up a quick call with our tech support, Shravan. So once you've chosen your expert, you click on their calendar, and you can pick from any of the time slots provided. Pick your date. Pick your time of preference. And this is where you can fill in the information for your booking. You are, of course, booking as an individual. So be mindful of that when you are booking one-on-one sessions with challenge owners. Because for challenge owners, we really would encourage you to book only one session per team due to the limited availability of most of our representatives. So how do we go about filling in this booking pop-up? First things first, I would like, of course, for Shravan to know which challenge am I working on and what questions am I struggling with? How can he help me out? Then each team can choose the preferred medium for communication. We have here a couple of options, and why we do this, it's because, of course, people are joining from different places and they have different connectivity options. So choose your preferred way to connect. You can for example, choose a Google Meet link, share that over here. And then if I want to invite any teammates to this meeting with Shravan, I can also include them via the search bar below. So I would like to invite, of course, my colleague Lana, so that we can have a nice conversation all together. You can invite as many teammates as you want. And I need to quickly pull out a Google Meet link for you guys. Bear with me. There we are. Okay. Oops. That did not go as planned. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Let me try it one more time. So, as we mentioned, don't be afraid of failing. We can do this together. I need my Google Meet, and here it is. I will pick this up. All right, let's give it another go. So I have my meeting. I have filled my information. And I have chosen the medium to connect. Then I'm going to be able to click Book Meeting. And I'm all set to talk to Shravan on Monday. If you would like to have an overview of your bookings, you can always find them in the calendar. You can, of course, chat additionally before your one-on-one. And there is also an opportunity for you to cancel a meeting if you want to change the time, for example. But as I mentioned, the one-on-ones with challenge owners are limited, so be mindful of that and make sure to book as soon as possible. This was all that I wanted to show you so far, the key functionalities of the Hackathon for Good platform. And as you can see, of course, we are also learning and iterating and designing and innovating. So if you have any suggestions or feedback on the platform or on the processes, we are always open to hearing your opinion and suggestions. So I am going to jump back over here to our program for today. And since we're done with the demo, I think it's time to say a big thank you. Right, Maudie?
Yeah, big thank you to you all. It was an amazing experience, amazing kickoff with everybody. So what we did today, we did a short introduction about our amazing team. Then after we met our challenge owners, they talked about their challenges. Then we did a program explanation. And so now you know everything about the support program that you need to know, everything about the countdown and the actual 48-hour hack. Afterwards, we got inspired and we learned that we can fail in order to learn. And then afterwards, we did a short introduction and a very clear introduction about our hackathon platform flow. So I think we are almost ready because our countdown is next week. So I hope you feel very excited, inspired, and all that's good to hack for good. And so that I want to also do a big shout out to our partners because we are not doing this alone. So we are doing with the team, with the mentors, the jury, the challenge owners, our speakers, but also our partners and sponsors that you see here in the screen. So big shout out to everybody because together we hack for good and we can really make an impact and make this happen together. So big thank you for being here. We wish you a very happy and exciting Saturday evening, and we hope to see you next week during our countdown Friday at 11 o'clock. So thank you all.
Thank you. Happy hacking. See you on the platform.